Welcome to Know Your Money, where we will explore our relationship with money and how the psychology of it impacts our financial decisions, as everyone thinks about money differently. In our podcast, we'll be presenting a variety of financial topics in an easy-to-understand way, which we hope will assist you with managing your money. Welcome to Know Your Money, everybody. Warren, Craig, how are you guys today?
Oh, another episode, another week, another nice long week, but all good, thanks. How are you, Warren?
Well, and you guys?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Looking forward to today. So Craig and I have both watched a Netflix series called How to Get Rich by a guy named Ramit Seti. So he's quite bold, I think, to name the series called How to Get Rich.
Yeah.
But what he basically talks about is how your behaviors or the way that you do things really affects your finances in the end. And one of his big things is called a conscious spending plan. So instead of calling it a budget, he calls it a conscious spending plan.
Okay.
And what he means by that is often people go and do a budget, but it's after the fact. So they put their budget together right at the end of the month to see what they've spent everything on. What he's trying to say is like, you've got to be conscious about how you're spending and what you're spending it on. And I think when people hear the term budget, they like switch off because you don't want to actually know what you're doing.
It's funny. So my wife actually sent me a budget recently for her monthly spending. And even just getting the email, I was like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah.
Because it had the word budget in.
Yeah.
And also it's scary, I think. You go budget, scary, spreadsheet, cold.
Yeah.
I think the conscious spending plan, when we saw that, we thought actually it puts another take on it. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to help you, make you enjoy your money more and understand your money more. So that's why we enjoyed that program.
Okay, so what's the program called? I might have to watch it.
How to Get Rich.
How to Get Rich, okay.
So it's a few different couples and, everything's sort of different. Like the one guy earns more than the other girl, but then they were sharing expenses and he tries to work through their sort of things. And another couple, they were just sort of spending, what happens when you have what do they use? Amazon.
Yeah.
And then you just order and you don't really understand how much you're spending on it. Or you go to the grocery store and you just swipe, and some people don't know how much a thing of milk is. And it's not to say that you must change it, but if you're wondering where your money goes, the only way you're going to get that answer is when you become conscious about what you're actually spending it on.
Which is exactly what I do.
But you're a saver, so that comes easily to you.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing for you.
Yeah. For a spender, it's not, because their natural go-to is to spend and not think about it. For a saver, as you spend, you're thinking about it. So
I'm aware of what I could buy this for at other shops potentially. Is it worth me spending the extra money now? I'll even sometimes, with my woodworking business, I'll factor in things like, okay, the petrol to get to that tool shop, is it worth me getting it from that one or just going to the local one? And whereas I think most people just go, oh, they have it there, great, let's go there.
Yeah. And that's choosing to be conscious. And I think the ideal person that everyone should strive to be is a bit of a spender and a bit of a saver.
Yeah.
Because you have to be both. But if you're conscious about both, you can be better at both. So if you're aware of how you spend, or if you're aware of how you to schnupp, or whatever the word is, you learn to be better.
But a spender won't enjoy looking at any kind of budget. So if it's more conscious and it's more of almost a fun thing, and okay, I've achieved a goal this month because it was within the parameters of my spending pattern, you feel better about it. But the budget is it's a hard word to even consider.
Yeah. There's another book I was reading by an Australian guy, The Barefoot Investor, I think his name is. And what he says in that book is money is one of the most important relationships that we have. But how much time do you spend on that relationship? And his thing is go grab a bottle of wine and sit down and have a meal and basically have a date with your budget or your spending, or have a date with your money. You know,
Yeah.
what are my debit orders? Where is this going? What am I spending things on? So it's about communication in a way. And a lot of people choose not to communicate with their money.
I think a lot of people are scared to communicate with their money because there's repercussions to looking at where you're spending your money.
Yeah.
But it ends up in what are your assets as well, not just
Yes, yeah.
how conscious are you of your spending, because your spending and your saving, your assets are growing, and it's good to see how they grow and what your personal balance sheet looks like. That's encouraging.
Yeah. And the more you work on any relationship, the better it gets. So
Yeah.
the whole point of the conscious spending or the going on a date with your money is to make sure that you start to have a better relationship both ways, from a saving and a spending perspective.
So I wanted to tell you guys that about 2-3 weeks ago, I had a big project come in for the woodworking business, and I had to build 12 dining chairs.
Sure.
And so I needed a bandsaw in order to complete the project. And I almost went classic Warren and bought the cheap one,
Oh,
but I didn't.
why not?
I bought the good one.
Look at you.
And the good one is great. And it's already paid for itself.
And
So-
it'll last longer, or?
and it'll last longer.
That's always
and I
the
must say, I
case.
did feel very uncomfortable at first. I mean, I also bartered the guy down at the company, so that made me feel a little bit better.
Good.
But yeah, I bought the good one.
That's amazing. And I think that that's such an important thing that you said there is don't change your nature completely. You know, get the bargain that you need to, but it's also your worthiness has increased a little bit, and you know that what you're giving him is good, and now you want to also give good. So what was hard in the beginning?
Yeah, I think, the idea of spending the money on the machine, because I first looked at it logically. So I went, yes, you're going to earn the money back in this project. So even though it cuts into your profits, it doesn't cost you anything, right? So don't make it all about the profits. And if you get the good one now, you're not going to have to get the second cheap one
Correct.
in 3 years' time.
100%. Yeah.
And yeah, so I convinced myself logically, but I still felt uncomfortable. And then I eventually managed to give myself a couple of days to think about it. And then I came around to the good idea of getting the right one.
But
Excellent.
isn't anything new uncomfortable? Like if you got on a bicycle and you didn't know how to ride it, do you think you're going to feel comfortable that you're not going to fall?
No, I'm not going to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
No.
So the more you
Yeah.
keep going, the easier those uncomfortable feelings would feel. And it was so good that you could sit and justify to yourself why the cheaper one wasn't actually the better.
No, it wasn't. And it was funny you saying the relationship with money. It was, a couple of days of talking to myself about it, and I guess discussing how I feel about that relationship with the payment I'd have to make.
And that's exactly it. It is.
Yeah.
You literally have to think about your relationship with money as another relationship in your life, and the talking and the communicating and the you fighting with yourself. Okay, no, don't get the big, the cheaper
Yeah.
one, and
Yeah.
it works.
But I think that idea of yours, Bron, to have a date night with your conscious spending plan and your balance sheet of your assets and how that's growing, that's a great way.
Absolutely, and really just look at it and value that relationship and spend time on it. I think it would really help.
Can you imagine if there was like a, when you get in your car and the petrol light is right there?
Yeah.
So you know exactly where you're sitting with the fuel you have. If there was just a way to have it always available to you of this is where you're at assets-wise and this is where you're at, bank account-wise.
So there is.
Okay.
It's called 22/7,
Oh, you told me about this one.
22, and then the word 7.
Okay.
It is awesome.
And that's literally, because I got to be honest, Bronwyn, I never got around to it.
Don't worry. And that's the thing. It's all of this is like we talk about your combination lock.
Yeah.
You will be ready to start doing that part of your journey when you're ready. Like often people go on a course or they listen to something and they think they must implement everything.
Yeah.
Like take one thing that resonates with you and move with that. And then as it goes on, you'll get to the next thing. When you want to or when you really, it will happen.
Yeah. So anyway, back to this for a second then. So the guy's series was How to Get Rich, and the focus was on conscious spending.
One of the focuses,
Only
yeah.
one
was
of them, yeah.
conscious spending, and then just, I think have a look at it and let us know your thoughts in one of the other ones.
Okay.
So the take homes for this episode is we're trying to help you not feel fearful about being conscious about what you spend, and when you're ready, you'll do that. And I think the second thing is, take your money on a date.
Good
Great stuff.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Nice one,
Thanks.
guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this podcast or would like to subscribe, please visit our website, www.growthfp.co.za. The information we have provided in this podcast is our personal opinion. For more detailed information, please discuss your financial situation with a financial planner.